You know, it was interesting yesterday, an interview with the Democratic nominee for governor in Arizona, David Garcia. And Maria, I'm very curious what you think of his theory as to why there's a little bit of, I don't know what you want to call it, maybe it's fatigue in the Latino community. Take a listen to how he characterized the issue, Maria.
Latinos have been asked to play defense over and over and over again, including coming out and voting against Trump. What we haven't had in a very long time is something to vote for. And what negativity does is it suppresses the vote.
As you know, we had negativity today, Maria, just in the president's Twitter feed, right?
So
very tough.
Chuck, I mean, let's be very, very frank and transparent. 60% of registered Latinos had not received a phone call from a candidate, a political party, an organization as of Sunday, according to NALEO, the National Association of Elected Public Officials.
Say that number again, Maria. Say that number again.
60% of registered Latinos. How are you expecting for someone to come to you and basically vote for you if you haven't even contacted them? It's the basics. When people start saying there's fatigue, there's not fatigue. What folks don't understand is 60% of Latinos are under the age of 33. The median age of a white voter is 54. The median age of a Latino voter is 18 years old, Chuck. So what happens, unfortunately, in all politics is that people decide that they're going to go ahead and call the high-frequency voter. Well, Latinos are disproportionately young. They probably have only voted once or twice in their lifetime. Just by default, they don't have a voting history. So everybody just all of a sudden does it a wash. If you want to know how we change the politics, we have to actually reimagine who our electoral is. We actually have to, in the Progressive Party, actually hire consultants that understand what the community is. Because the community is so young, most people do not realize that if you elect a member of Congress, they can be that line of defense against the president. They right now believe that the president is the almighty, and they don't realize that we have three branches of government that are literally equal sorts, and that is why you need to vote in the midterm elections.
Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Beat the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.